Well, to discuss these shocking developments further, we are now joined by Sharif Baker. He's a member of the Southern African Communication Industries Association. Sharif, a good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. 285 million rand is a lot of money, but are we surprised that we've seen this bungle?
Good afternoon, Naledi, and good afternoon to the viewers. No, we're not surprised. I mean, we need to take it back a little bit, Naledi. If we go back to the beginning of the lockdown, the creative sector was promised 1.2 billion rands in assistance and relief. And within 3 weeks, half of that was taken away without any reason or recourse. We were then left with a measly 600 odd million, which was the split between the creatives, heritage and sport. So now we were bundled down to another 285 million, which has gone wrong. And yeah, somebody needs to be held accountable for it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we know that there are 5 NAC members that essentially are facing some of the accountability, or at least will be standing for some of that accountability. Is that sufficient? Is that enough, really? And should we be talking about accountability from the minister himself, who says government is not to blame?
So accountability, yeah. What is it going to help our creatives? Ideally, we need relief. And 285 million rands for a workforce of 1.3 billion is by no means sufficient. And we're not asking for bailout for every single person. And we appreciate that government is trying to assist us in many ways. But by virtue of government trying to assist us, does it not make them accountable? You know, it's an open-ended question or statement. And at the end of the day, it's our creatives that are suffering. So holding people accountable, unless that money gets returned so we can give to our creatives, you know, then great. But if not, holding them accountable, yes, will pave the way for the future people not to do such things. But is it really going to help our creatives in this time that we are suffering and dying of starvation?
Yeah, 55% of beneficiaries that had applied and approved did not receive a single cent. And the minister saying that that money will be given to them. Are you confident of that?
So I am fortunate in a position to be hands-on in getting information from the Department of Sports and Arts and Culture and liaising with the minister and the ministry, rather. And I'm confident those people will be paid. But obviously, the biggest catastrophe that's taken place is that more people were allocated money than there was money available. And whether those people will get to enjoy or receive relief right now is debatable. What the government needs to be doing is looking at economic recovery and reconstruction. And I know the minister is actively working on that, but they need to come out and assist, especially those that lost and suffered under this NAC debacle. And we need to try and find a way to move past it by virtue of helping our creatives. And one of those ways is to assist us in reopening our sector sooner rather than later, because right now we've been absolutely forgotten.
Yeah, and I want to talk about opening the sector up once again, especially as the country vaccinates more and more people. But the impact of this relief fund really, and the bungle of 285 million rand, how that actually impacts the sector that hopes to open up soon?
So obviously on an emotional level and on a business level, yes, it definitely does impact. And I say again, with all due respect to government and to our creative sector, there isn't enough money to go around to look after the entire creative sector. But it does put a pinch on people's emotions and creatives' emotions moving forward, because right now we're not looking for a handout. We are looking to reopen so we can work for our money. In the interim of looking after us by the relief of this 285 million, thank you. We're not saying no to it, but by virtue of 55% or 50% or whatever percentage losing out on this application or this funding, it leaves a bitter taste in the mouth. Right. And thus the push forward now is for relief.
Yeah, well, Sharif,
of reopening.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to us. We do appreciate your time. Sharif Baker is a member of the Southern African